Hey, what is going on, guys? Today I want to share a story, and this story is about my most nerve-wracking, or one of my most nerve-wracking, anxious moment in my tennis career. And the whole point of me sharing this story is because I know every player has to go through the mental side of the game, and that everyone struggles with nerves, anxiety, overthinkingness, and I want to share some tools and tips on what I learned on how to manage my own nerves and how you can do the same for your match. I'm Maximus. I've been playing Padel and tennis for over 15 years now, and I've always struggled in matches when I've competed with controlling my nerves, my overthinking, my frustrations, and this would just plummet my game so much where I had to do something about it. So ever since then, I've been studying, and now I help other players overcome their emotions and how to manage it to do the same thing. All right, so on to the story. This story takes place when I was 15 years old, first year in high school, and there was another ranking tournament coming up. Nothing particular crazy special, but I had this one teacher in school, and me and him always got along because we were both big tennis fans, and he was also a very good player. And one time he asked me if I wanted to maybe join with him for another tournament, and that he even said he was gonna come see one of my matches in the tournament. And I really wanted to play with this guy in a future tournament, a future doubles tournament or whatever, or play against him. I just thought that would be very cool. I really admired the guy. And me overthinking that so much caused me to be a nervous breakdown before the match even began. I didn't really feel it until I came to warm up on the court and I saw him sitting there and we made eye contact, where I just felt like something just hit my stomach and I was all up in my head. My body was immediately tense. I was closed down, and all of a sudden I just couldn't think straight. I was already in the warm up, just kind of not thinking about my actual warm up and just thinking about all the possibilities that could have gone wrong during the match that I didn't want to happen. All right, so then game begins, and lo and behold, that is exactly how I played the first set. Just completely garbage. I would miss very easy shots that I've been practicing. I would just not understand what was going on. I would keep glancing over at him ever so often to just see like what was he thinking, what was his facial expression, and his facial expression was just like stone cold, and that just made me give myself own thoughts, and my head was just not in the game at all. And then first set finished, and after the first set he left. He just left, and when I was sitting there on a bench and I noticed he left, I came to the realization that the worst possible scenario that could have happened. Like, I played garbage, he saw it, and he's gone. Like, it couldn't have gone worse than that. And I realized all of a sudden my mind kind of went blank. I kind of subconsciously just got the feeling of like, okay, there's really nothing I can lose now. Like, the worst thing that could have happened, and now there's nothing to be afraid of. There's what did I have to be anxious about? There was nothing to lose. And starting that second set, I fell into this flow state of just not thinking, just performing, and I ended up winning the match. I ended up beating him in the second set like 6-3, 6-4, going into the super tie break and beating, because it was super tie break, but then winning 10-5 or something like that. And well, what I think is very interesting about the story is how my mind shifted so quickly into a state of just messing up everything into just pure flow, and just in the same body with the same skills. The difference between my two performances was everything to do with my mindset and where my focus was directing. And now I want to help you guys how to get into that flow state without feeling the anxious, nervous thoughts that we always have, without having to go through that first part. How can we manage to always play in that stability like I did in the second set, without having to go through all that just overthinking this from the beginning. So the plan for this video is I want to talk about 3 things that we can do. And the funny thing is that this has nothing to do what you think about your mind. And in fact, it's the opposite. And before I get into the 3 topics I want to mention is I want to explain the law of presence. And the law of presence exclaims that as thought decrease, performance increase. So the less we think, that is when we start playing in flow and just in this environment that everything just comes to us and it's like instinct. And that is exactly what happened to me. So none of these points that I'm going to mention is stuff that you should actually think about or stuff that have to do with your thoughts at all, because the whole point of what we're trying to do is to not think at all. And the best way to do it, there's an expression that's called get out of the leaves and into the tree. So you want to bring your body energy back down into your body, because when we're in our head, all of our energy comes up to our head, and that is when our body stiffs up because there's no flow going into our body. You got to think of it like a circle. That energy flows from your body to your head, to your body to your head. And a lot of the time when we're thinking so much, and that's what makes us anxious, the energy is stuck in our head and we're not giving it any outlets to go into the body. So that being said, here are 3 things you can do to let that energy flow back down to your body so you can start actually thinking less during a match and start playing with full confidence. The first thing I want to mention is posture. When I talk back about my game, if you were to see my posture, it would just look completely tense, closed up. My chest would be contracted, my shoulders would be rounded forward. I would just be hunched down. And one, your body posture reflects how your mind operates. And 2, once you close up physically, you are not letting the energy flow back down into your body. And that is literally blocking your body from being into the game. So what can we do? What posture changes can we do to actually let that energy flow back into the body? Well, one thing that's really useful to do is actually to step back more on your heels. Stepping back more on your heels literally roots you to the floor and literally calms your body down to be more grounded in a way. So if we don't have to lean all the way back, but if we just go a bit more on our heels, because in tennis we're always on our toes. That's kind of how we want to play the game. But being on our toes all the time is actually counterintuitive to what we want to accomplish. So either in tennis or Padel, when there's moments of just rest, go on your heels, be rooted, and see how that makes you feel. Feel the energy going down to your feet at that exact same moment. Another thing we can do with our posture is to just open the chest up, because that is one of the most common things that close up during times of anxiety or overthinking is that our shoulders round forward and we literally close up. So in order to do that, we just move the shoulders back a little bit, not all the way back, but just straight up, and let the energy go into our diaphragm and then back out into our head. And that way, once again, the energy can start flowing, and that is when we're gonna start to feel more at ease, more in the moment, in the given present moment. All right, but all of this posture stuff will not work if we do not have the right breathing techniques. And I mentioned this already in a lot of my videos, is that the way we breathe matters so much to how much our brain thinks. Like the speed of your breath is the speed of your mind. So if we want to slow the mind down, we're gonna have to slow our breath down as well. I've already mentioned that a simple 3 seconds in and 6 seconds out, or you can do 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out. But what's very important is that you 1x, 2x. So you double the time as you exhale with whatever time you breathe in. And this will literally calm our nervous system, will bring us back into the match. And combining this with the posture is really gonna bring our focus back into the present moment and playing with less thoughts in our head. And this breathing does not have to be heavy at all. If you just simply, you have to make it so discreet that people do not even realize you're doing it. If you just slowly breathe in through your nose for 3 seconds in and out through your mouth. You're already that already calmed me down, and it's something that if you do it 6 times, or people that meditate will feel it even if they do it fewer times, your nervous system will completely regulate itself and completely reset. So anytime you can, between points, between games, try doing this. And it's very important you practice during your practice matches in order to perform well. But sometimes even fixing our posture and breathing the right way is still not gonna help. Sometimes there's actually we're just so tense that even those things, there's no way that we can bring ourselves back into ground level. So the last thing I can recommend for you guys to do is to literally shake it out. And you see this with deers. As lions chase for the prey, which are deers, and deers manage to get away, you can see they have so much excess nervousness after they escape that the only thing they can do is actually just shake it all out, and then they go about with their day a lot calmer. And shaking, in the same principle as fixing your posture, is literally eliminating all that excess anxiety, thoughts, and literally shaking it all out. And what a lot of Padel or tennis people do is literally grab the racket in their left hand and shake their right hand out, or the other way around if you're left-handed. But try shaking where you feel the tense in your body to literally calibrate yourself and regulate your nervous system so that everything is in a balance. The awesome thing about these tools and resources is that not only can you use them in your sport, but they're applicable for everyday life. If you realize that something just pisses you off, someone says something that you didn't really like, or some inconvenience happens to you, if you try to do any 3 of those things at that given moment, if you're aware of how that's gonna make you feel, you'll see the difference it does in how you handle any situations at all. You're gonna feel so much more level-headed, so much more just in the present, down to earth, and thinking more fresh is the best way I can say it, eliminating all other thoughts inside your brain. If you want to join a community with other athletes or people that are also in that same journey of handling their emotions in their sport and everyday life, I'll have a link to a free community you can join down below, so make sure to get in that if you want. So now you know 3 tricks on how to calm your nervous system and start playing with more confidence. And do I wish that I knew this before my first set playing when I was younger, because I feel like that would have calmed my brain a lot. But if you like this sort of content, please make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what other type of videos you would like to see on the channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.